So they go to a break. There's actually a couple of other segments in between. Finally, they come back live to the ring, and Kevin Owens is still in the ring. He is sitting in a chair in the ring. He looks like he is contemplating his life, which I would be too if I had just been, buried by Braun Strowman and nearly assassinated for the last 4 months on television, and then I lost again. So he's sitting there, and the crowd is chanting for him, and he's not saying anything. And finally, he picks the mic up to his mouth, and he just says, "I quit." And he throws the mic down, and he walks off. So they're doing a quitting angle with Kevin Owens. And again, thankfully it was only a couple of people. For the people who tweeted me and said, was that real? Did Kevin Owens really just quit? Because I don't think he did, but if he did, man, that's great. That's really, what's going to happen? Are they going to sue him? Are they going to freeze his contract? God bless you. That's all I could say. God bless all those people who still believe. But no, this is not real. In fact, Kevin Owens has been talking about how he just signed a new 5-year contract. So he is not interested in going back to the indie scene or back to Ring of Honor or anything like that. He is a WWE guy, probably a lifer. He's not going anywhere. But they're doing the quitting angle with him. Which begs the question, what next? Look at what this man has been through on television for the last 4 months. Losing to Braun Strowman, nearly being murdered by Braun Strowman, dumped in a porta potty off the stage, thrown off the top of a cage, chokeslammed on a metal ramp, clotheslined inside out at every turn. What's next for Kevin Owens? I mentioned Rollins giving him that little nod of respect at the end of the match. I thought maybe they're going to turn the guy babyface, right? Because when you're going to turn somebody, it almost doesn't matter what you do to them in the lead up to it. That you can job them out and you can make them, look the way that, frankly, he looked in this feud with Strowman. If he's going to turn, and come back as some kind of ass-kicking babyface, it almost doesn't even matter. It almost sort of wipes out all that stuff that they did with him. So maybe they'll turn him babyface. I don't think they are, and I think actually that would be a bad idea. Not that he can't get over as a babyface or that people wouldn't be, willing to accept him in that role. I just, Kevin Owens as a babyface, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the wrong role for him. At a time when so many other people on both these rosters are miscast, frankly, whether it's Charlotte or Becky or Braun or Bobby Roode. I'm sure there's other names I could come up with if I thought about it. At least they had enough sense to let Orton come back as a heel. But at a time when there's so many people who are miscast in their roles on this show, I think to turn Kevin Owens babyface would be a mistake. So I was thinking, well, what could they do with this guy then, right? Sami Zayn is out for many more months with an injury. He's not coming back anytime soon. What can you do with this guy? And I came up with a better idea. Kevin Owens, first and foremost, should remain a heel. We also saw him in the crowd in Brooklyn at that last NXT TakeOver show. Not the first time that we've seen him there. Kevin Owens, of course, came from NXT. I mean, he wasn't there very long, but that was not the first time, I don't believe, that they've shown him as sort of a guest in the crowd at one of these NXT shows. So, obviously he pays attention, even in storyline, to what's going on in NXT. I would keep him off television for a while. I wouldn't keep him off television for 6 months or anything like that, or 4 months until the Royal Rumble, because I think that's way too long. Unless he's hurt or something, he's... you can't keep a guy like him on the sidelines like that. He's not... I mean, I still can't believe Eric Bischoff kept Sting out of action as long as he did to do that angle back in '97. But, I guess there are times where it kind of warrants it and makes sense. CM Punk, for example, back in 2011, I thought they brought him back way too quickly. Kevin Owens, though, you can't keep him off TV for months and months and months. But I do think you should keep him off television for a while and maybe even let him make a few appearances at some indie show. He wasn't at All In. That would have been a hell of a twist if Kevin Owens was, in the Pentagon makeup last night instead of Chris Jericho. Although I guess physically, I'm not quite sure how they would have pulled that off. But they could have, I guess, tried to work something out maybe where they let him at least go to the show. But, even if it's a little spot show here and there, look, they have a partnership with Evolve. Why can't Kevin Owens show up at a frickin' Evolve show or something, right? I say let him do that for a couple of months. But keep him off television for just enough time to get you to Survivor Series season. And when he comes back, Kevin Owens does not come back alone. He brings with him Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Kevin Owens and Adam Cole reunited once again. I want to see Kevin Owens come back with the Undisputed Era. If you're going to promote the Undisputed Era eventually to the main roster, and you know they will, there's already rumors about them bringing up Fish and O'Reilly. I would rather they bring them all up as a unit, keep them together. Kevin Owens has these past friendships and relationships with these guys, including Adam Cole. A lot of fans are aware of that, and if not, they can just play it up, right? The WWE, they're the ones pulling the strings and telling the stories here. It would not be difficult for them to say that Kevin Owens has these relationships going back to their days outside of WWE. But Kevin Owens comes back with Undisputed Era. They could even set up a Survivor Series match with Owens and at least certain members, if not all members of the Undisputed Era, taking on the Shield, and maybe with the Shield you put, Braun Strowman with them, or, why the hell not? Who the hell knows, like I said, if this is a real heel turn or not. So you can have Strowman or somebody else even teaming up with the Shield if you got to sort of even it up and make it 5-on-5 or something to that effect. But you can set up a big Survivor Series match, and it could be the first big win for the Undisputed Era. It could lead to a Shield loss, perhaps through some sort of miscommunication. Maybe Dean Ambrose turns on Rollins and Reigns on that show. I look ahead to what are they going to do for WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is probably going to be the Universal Champion at least through WrestleMania. I don't expect him to drop that title before then. What's the play here? What's the match? I've seen the rumors about WWE possibly being interested in setting up Roman Reigns against The Rock. And Roman Reigns, look, The Rock against anybody is going to be a big marquee match at WrestleMania. They'll sell a lot of tickets. They'll do a lot of business. If you can get Dwayne Johnson on your show, you'd be a fucking moron not to. So if you're one of these people, oh, The Rock is old, The Rock, he's a part-timer, I don't want to see him, then you don't know how to do business. I would not fault them for wanting to put The Rock on the WrestleMania card. But The Rock against Roman Reigns, I can't say is a match that really excites me. So, if not Rock and Roman Reigns, I could see them wanting to do a Shield triple threat with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. That gets them all into the championship match at WrestleMania. Maybe they want to hold off on a possible Ambrose turn until WrestleMania. Maybe they do it before WrestleMania. Maybe they have options as far as how they might handle that. But I look ahead to Mania, and I just think the most likely option right now for a Universal title match on that show is probably a Shield triple threat for the belt. So however you get there, we can always play with that idea. But the idea that Kevin Owens comes back, not alone. He comes with backup. He comes with friends because he's just sick and tired. He's down in the doldrums right now. And there's been other rumors as well that maybe he'll come back as a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman will help resuscitate his career, and when we see Owens again, he'll have Heyman with him. Again, I don't see that happening. I wouldn't mind a Heyman-Owens combo. I think that could be very entertaining. Frankly, you could do Heyman and Owens and still bring in Undisputed Era and make the whole group a bunch of Heyman guys. But if we haven't had Paul Heyman girls and guys outside of Brock Lesnar and Curtis Axel being the other, and I guess Cesaro, but that was years ago at this point, it's obvious to me that either Heyman doesn't have any interest in really doing that. He just wants to work with Brock. Otherwise, he's fine, just being on the sidelines. Or Vince McMahon, just for whatever reason, does not really want to put Paul Heyman with anybody else. He was with Punk for a while. He was with Brock. Those were kind of his two main guys. The thing with Cesaro was a total flop. The thing with Axel was a total flop. They've never tried to do anything with, like a Heyman girl. Would you put somebody like a Shayna Baszler or a Ronda Rousey with him? As long as Rousey's a babyface, I don't really see the need for that. But there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. And of course, the fear is that you and I will come up with all these kind of fun, exciting ideas. Zero of which will actually happen. But Owens and Undisputed Era. That's what I'd like to see. When this guy comes back, he brings those boys up with him. And like I said, you could set up a Survivor Series match with the Shield and whoever else needs to be in there. You could set up a whole bunch of programs coming out of that match. Adam Cole and all them get a big win, on a big pay-per-view. And, to see Owens as part of a faction like that, I think would be a change. It would be a change of pace. I think he would play well off those guys, and I think it could be a lot of fun.